Benny Bear and Ruby Rabbit, and the Great Spring Cleanup. The snow had finally melted in Pinecone Forest. Little green shoots peeked from the ground, birds chirped in every tree, and the air smelled like fresh rain and new beginnings. Benny Bear opened his windows wide, stretched his big arms, and sniffed the breeze. "Smells like spring," he said with a smile. Just then, thump, 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 came a knock at his door. Ruby Rabbit burst in, holding a basket and wearing a daisy behind her ear. "Happy Spring Cleanup Day," she announced. Benny blinked. "Is that today?" Ruby grinned. "Every year the animals tidy up the forest together, picking up litter, clearing fallen branches, planting flowers. I signed us up." Benny scratched his head. "I thought spring was for naps." Ruby laughed. "You can nap after we rake, sweep, sort, and shine." They started in the village square where Mayor Badger was handing out brooms, gloves, and colourful leaf bags. "Let's see," Ruby read from the job list. "You and I are assigned to Buttercup Trail." "Perfect," said Benny. "That's where the bees build their hives." The trail, however, was a mess. Twigs and leaves were scattered everywhere, and a few old snack wrappers fluttered in the breeze. "Who left all this behind?" Benny asked, picking up a juice box. Ruby frowned. "Some visitors must have forgotten to clean up before winter." They got to work, Benny sweeping with a huge broom and Ruby hopping from one spot to the next with her grabber tool. "Look!" Ruby held up a shiny button. "Treasure!" Benny chuckled. "Maybe we'll find a whole suit by the time we're done." After an hour, they had 4 full bags and a tidy trail. "Teamwork makes the trail work," Ruby said, high-pawing Benny. They headed toward the next site when they heard a faint buzzing sound. "Bees?" Benny asked. The buzzing grew louder. Then, boom! A loud crash echoed through the trees. They rushed towards the sound and found a large branch had fallen across the edge of the trail, right on top of a hollow tree stump. "Oh no!" Ruby gasped. "That's the bees' hive." Sure enough, a group of very upset bees buzzed frantically around the crushed entrance. "We've got to help them," Benny said. Ruby nodded, but carefully. They approached slowly, humming softly. Benny gently lifted the branch while Ruby peeked inside. The hive's still okay, but the opening is blocked. Ruby rummaged in their supplies and pulled out a small wooden sign and a handful of flower seeds. "I have an idea." First, Benny rolled the log a few feet to give the bees space. Then Ruby carefully painted a sign that read, "Bee crossing watch your paws." Together they cleared a path to the hive and planted wildflowers nearby to make the bees feel welcome again. As they worked, the bees slowly calmed down. One of them, a big, fuzzy bumblebee with a purple stripe, hovered near Ruby's ear and buzzed a gentle thank you. "You're very welcome," she said. By afternoon, the trail looked fresh and blooming. Benny and Ruby returned to the square, tired but proud. Mayor Badger looked at their cleanup chart. "Buttercup Trail. Completed. And the bees are happy. Excellent work." He handed them a little blue ribbon that read, "Spring Stars." "Woohoo!" cheered Ruby. That evening, the forest animals gathered for a picnic in the meadow. Tables were full of fruit pies, veggie wraps, and fresh lemonade. Garland made from vines and blossoms hung in the trees, and music filled the air. Benny lounged on a picnic blanket, munching a honey muffin. Ruby sat beside him watching fireflies flicker in the grass. "Today was a good day," Benny said, lying back. Ruby nodded. "A little work, a little adventure, and a lot of happy bees." "Next year," Benny said sleepily, "maybe we clean up 2 trails." Ruby laughed. "Only if you promise not to nap in the compost pile again." They giggled, clinked lemonade cups, and looked up at the stars peeking through the evening sky, knowing that every season brought new adventures. And always new reasons to help.